Hi everyone. Hi. Today I'm very happy to Eng Han actually invited me to share today's session. The title is My Adventure on a Roller Coaster. Just want to give an introduction of myself. My name is Grayson, like all of you know. I work for K11 and Newer Group. For those, it's a listed company in Hong Kong. And some of the more familiar brands we're all familiar with is Zhou Da Fu and Rosewood Hotel. So that's part of our group. And what I do in K11 Newer is that I take care of the team attractions and the theme park business in the company. So what I do is I master plan large-scale retail sites across China and Hong Kong. And also I'm currently building the world first National Geographic Family Entertainment Center in Shenyang. You guys can go there next year. It's going to open in May. Also incubating our own IP and work on strategic partnerships with entertainment operators. So a little bit what I do. Everybody says my job is very fun. Yeah. I always tell my team it's very simple. Every year you bring in 3 million visitors to your park, safe, and they leave happy. That's it. You know. But to do that, the work behind is very tedious. So I always tell my team, fun is a very serious business. So I'm going to tell my story. My story about what I did over the last 12, 14 years and what works for me and how I position myself for success in every single stage of my life. A little bit about myself. My work started in the southernmost point of the Asia continent, Sentosa. This is 3.2 kilometers of beach that I'm very familiar with in the island. I work my life in Sentosa and China, never in Singapore. So I started as a part-time in 1999 as a casual. I worked as an operator. I heard that. Younger days. Yes. So I started as an operator in Sentosa, as Carlsberg Sky Tower. I was also a beach patrol officer on the beach. So we do a lot of rescues. Some of the crazy work we've done last time was every time there's a drowning in Sentosa, we do search for dead bodies in Sentosa because the police will not come, it's in the water. Coast Guard will not come because it's in the beach. And if somebody dies within 1 minute, the brain is dead. Yeah. So we had to develop a team to search for bodies in the water. And I've done that for the last 8 to 9 years, since 1999. So after I graduated with a degree in human resource development. Yeah, although I'm in theme park business. So these are things that I do. Some of the marine life in Sentosa to also share. Sentosa is very rich in marine life. Every time you go to the lagoon and swim, you think that there's a net, but it's just an oil boom to prevent oil slicks from coming in. So there are sharks, white tip, black tip sharks. There are a lot of rich marine life, and Sentosa Island, Singapore, has actually more species of corals than Great Barrier Reef. All right, it's just that because of the color, you can't see them, and then the clarity. So when I graduated, I was offered a job to manage the entire beach. Sentosa created a job before I graduated. So I managed the entire beach zone, 3.2 kilometers. We master planned and brought in attractions like Wave House, Megazip, Azura, and many others. And I thought that was my dream job. I take care of the entire beach. I was like, wow, I'm never going to leave Sentosa. So yeah, so these are some of the attractions that came in when we master planned Sentosa in the earlier days. And events, I ran a Siloso Beach Party, Halloween events over the last 8-10 years when I was in Sentosa Island. Yeah, so these were large events in Singapore then, 20,000-30,000. So like I said, this was my dream job. My first job already got my dream job. So what can I do next? So after 4 years, I said, oh, I'm getting too comfortable in my job. What should I do? I can't do this anymore. So when I was 25. Like everyone else, I didn't know what to do with my life. I know I enjoy working in the tourism industry, but I didn't know what to do. So in 2006, when Resorts World and Sands came about, they were bidding for a project. So I was at home watching TV, and then they said, oh, they're going to build Universal in Singapore Marine Life Park. So I sat there and said, hey, I want to be there. So yeah. So luckily, 3-4 months later, I was headhunted because then there was not many tourism people in Sentosa. In Singapore, it was just Haw Par Villa Group, Sentosa, and the zoo. Yeah, so I was headhunted for Universal Studios. It was really an amazing project. The entire park, the making of Universal Studios, 6,000 to 8,000 people, architects, consultants, contractors, working every single day for 3 years. Yeah, so, and a team of the best in the world was assembled from every single industry: music, arts, teaming, construction. So everybody was brought together for this project. It cost 4.5 billion to build Universal Studios. So I was very happy to be part of it, and that was my huge learning curve in the theme park industry. No clue, but I got in. Yeah, so I worked 7 days a week to build this place for 2.5 years. So this is part of some of the pictures: Lost World Egypt, the dwelling coaster, Bethesda Galactica. Some of the pictures when we were on site, every day on site, we had to deal with design, construction, operations, building a team. Yeah, so that was part of what I did. And when I was in Universal Studios, I was offered to take care of, Universal had 6 lands, so I was offered 2 lands. So I got DreamWorks Zone, Madagascar and Far Far Away. So when I was offered the zone, I was like, hey, why did you give me a kid's zone, you know? But actually to me, I was very lucky because DreamWorks Zone was one of the most tedious, and the best art directors were all brought for DreamWorks. It cost 10 times more to build DreamWorks than the rest of the place in Universal. So I had the best. So yeah. And then some of the pictures with my team. We went to Universal. Hey. That was my brother. So we went to Universal Orlando for training for 3 months. So after this, I had the opportunity to join Marine Life Park. So that was phase 2. So actually my dream was to go to Marine Life Park, not Universal actually. So Universal was a stepping stone. But I learned the most from Universal. And then I went to Marine Life Park. I was the first team member in Marine Life Park. So it was a water park built above an aquarium. So these are some of the designs we went through. It was a very fantastic project. It was the world's largest aquarium. Yeah. So these are some of the pictures when we started in 2010. Yeah, 2010, Marine Life Park. So some of the rides, I was taking care of all the attractions in Marine Life Park. And then some of the designs we went through for Grotto, for the mountain, some of the rides when it first came in. Some of the key things I built there was, this was the hydromagnetic coaster. It's a water coaster. It is first in Southeast Asia. If you look at the other attractions that was done, this was the first time I got in contact with China because I studied in Australia. So every time being in Singapore, I was like, oh, China, you know. So my first time when I went, so my first time got in contact with China was when I went to Qingdao to hire from 10,000 people. I hired 60 to be selected, you know, all the way to 60 team members, all the way in Qingdao and Dongbei to Singapore to work for us. So went there for 2 weeks, chose 60 team members and brought it back to us. Part of the things that I created was also the Stingray experience and also Rainbow Reef. These are the first of its kind in Asia. It was modeled after the reef experience in Disney, Typhoon Lagoon. So some of the pictures, being the best water park in Southeast Asia, we modeled the world's best aquatic risk management team, yeah, which is Jeff Ellis Associates. So we were the first in water park in Asia to use this. Making of. So I also want to show you the making of the world's largest aquarium, yeah, the open ocean tank.
It is the biggest tank in the world. The length is 36 meters, the height is about 3-story high, and the panel thickness is 700 mm thick. This whole entire panel comes in 7 pieces. It comes in over here to Singapore, where we have a huge logistic to bring them in. And due to the construction on site, because of the tight schedule, and also the very tight construction access. And with the coordination effort of the structural contractors, the builders, the specialist contractor who builds the panel, we managed to construct the whole entire tank almost in about 7 to 8 months. We really hope that the guests will take their time, enjoy this whole entire park to experience the marine life.
When we built this tank, we were the largest in the world. But 3 months after we built it, China took the title. So Changlong, Zhuhai, Ocean Kingdom took the title. We were 70 cm thick in thickness, they were 80 cm. Because there's only 3 contractors that built such tanks in the world. So they just told the same contractor, make it bigger. Finish. So I always thought that building a theme park was difficult. But when I did Marine Life Park, it was even more worse because we deal with livestock. Yeah, so we had to find a facility in Choa Chu Kang where we had to put all the fishes in there while waiting for the construction to finish. So it's very tedious. It's things that we cannot control. Yeah. And my journey in China, I tell you, I can't speak Mandarin back then. So, but I knew when I did Marine Life Park that my next role was every time I do a current job, I would know where I'm going to go next. So I knew that I had to go China. I had to go. Yeah, and I want to go. So I was again headhunted for a project in China. I had to choose between Disney, Wanta, and Hello Kitty. I chose the cat. So that was the beginning of my journey in China. From city in Singapore, I went to a town called Anji. It was 1 hour from Hangzhou and 2 hours from Shanghai. So I went there as director of operations for Hello Kitty Park. So I think it's amazing. So we started, it was the first Hello Kitty Park out of Japan. Yeah, there was 2 in Japan. It was the first one out of Japan. I worked very closely with Sanrio Group to develop the overall operation, the overall design, and the construction. So these are some of the pictures. Culture shock. Wow. I tell you, first 3 months in China, crazy, really, really crazy. You know, because everywhere I go, people tell me, Grayson, this is not the way to do in China. We don't do this in China. So after 3 months, I felt myself more and more like the Chinese. You know, so I said, this is gonna stop. You know, because the minute I try to adapt. I think there are many things that we can adapt. Yeah, but there are certain things we need to know where our value is. We need to maintain that standard. So I didn't allow anyone to tell me this is the way you do it in China anymore, because I know it can be done. And China is very advanced these days. Yeah. So some of the culture shock when I built attractions. If you look at what they say there, in Singapore, if I get a cut on attractions, the BCA will shut me down for 2 hours. In China, they say for a small matter, less than 3 people die is okay. So I got very shocked. You know, the kind of understanding towards human life is so different. Yeah, in Singapore, the Western world, and China. So this is all from the standard. So when I go through the books in China, I realized that the standards of theme park in China is a very infant industry. Yeah, so there's a lot to learn. Even by following the Chinese standards, it's actually a very dangerous park. Yeah. So there are not many rides I would take in China, honestly. Yeah, so one of the other things is when I first came, language was a problem. Like I said, I cannot speak Mandarin. You know, it's a very little. So just to share a little bit, first 2 months in China, I was doing my budgets. So I had several staff, one of them from Dongbei. Yeah, so we were doing budgets, and then when we were doing, I told him to change the budgets. Yeah, so he went to change. So after he changed, he sent by email. He sat next to me. So I asked him, 你家在哪里? Where did you add the numbers, right? So he said, oh, 我家在哈尔滨. So I really got a shock. So I realized, oh, actually my Chinese is really bad. So these are some of the Ferris wheel where we install 60 meters Ferris wheel. Yeah. Alex is somewhere in office. So it's not a duck, right? Yeah. They rebuilt. We did a lot of events. Landscape installation in China. Oh, I get bigger every project. So it's not right. Just also to share that in the Western world or in the international standards, normally we will stress a ride for 400 to 500 hours before they're allowed to the public. But in China, it's 80 hours. Normally only 80 hours. By standard, it's 80 hours. So they will not do more than that. Yeah. So normally, certain parks, international parks, we do a lot more than that. So one of my favorite parade, I couldn't get a video. So it's Hello Kitty Dream Parade. One of my favorite. So yeah. And then after I went to after I completed Hello Kitty today has an annual attendance of 1 million visitors in Anji, not even in the city. So it has 1 million visitors. Then I went on to do Monkey King with this group called Zhonghong. Zhonghong is the Chinese company that bought SeaWorld, 21% of SeaWorld. Yeah. So Monkey King was a very unique project because it combines Chinese mythology with the Western rides. Yeah. And how do you make Monkey King cute? It's very difficult, It was really a challenge. Yeah, because it has to do a lot with culture. How does Chinese people view Monkey King as? Is it a god? Is it a saint? So to build it into a theme park where it attracts kids, families, to give that experience was actually very challenging. So it's in Jinan, Shandong province. We spent about $40 billion, 40 亿, on this project. Some of the things we did. So we did a cube版 of the Monkey King. Yeah, so it's cute that we can sell. If you look like that, nobody's gonna buy it. Right. So float designs also. When we get Disney people to design the floats, when it first came out, it looks like a temple possession. Because the Western people will never understand, what Monkey King means to this part of the world. Yeah. Yeah. So when I was doing finished Monkey King project, it was in 2013. 13, yeah, right. Yeah. so back then, the intellectual property, China was in a very mad rush for content and IP. Yeah. So even when I was in Monkey King, I was preparing myself for the next stage in the market. Yeah. So I joined K11 Concepts, a newer group. It's a retail industry, so I built the theme park business for them. So we work with a lot of international IP partnerships. So this was what I tried to value add myself with, even before I moved into the retail industry. Yeah. So we bring a lot of this content. This is the one I'm going to build, the world's first in Shenyang. It's going to be very different from any theme park we've ever seen before. I'm very excited. Yeah, because it's like going into a game. Yeah, it's never built before. So every kid will be able to have fun. They'll be able to, if you look at the picture, they'll be able to run with animals. And they can choose to run and race with a monkey. Yeah, do a 20-meter sprint. Yeah, so new experiences that never been seen before. Yeah, and National Geographic has 130 years of content. Yeah, so this is something that we bring out and make every kid an explorer. Yeah. So I also master plan a lot of projects, RDE, retail, dining, entertainment projects across China. Large scale ones, 300,000 to 400,000 meters square in size. And yeah, so I develop entertainment strategies that suits the different market, different cities, different size, different malls. Yeah. If you look at the entire theme park and tourism industry, China has a $500 billion market. Yeah, with so much infrastructure improving, this is a market that grows exponentially. So you don't even need to do anything. Just because China becomes richer, your market becomes larger. Yeah. So if you look at that, Chinese in 2016 Chinese market, Chinese theme parks are 11 out of 20, and this will increase tremendously over the next few years with so much large projects in China. Atlantis Shanya will open next year. So there are a lot of more projects coming in. Yeah, last time Sentosa was Asia's favorite playground. I'm not sure about now. And so if you look at the challenges and opportunities in China, China is really a huge, rapid growing market, highly aggressive. Consumers in China are unlike any part of the world. They're so aggressive, their attention span is so short, they increasingly know quality projects, you can no longer bluff them, So the impact to local players will soon force out the market. And also investment in China, you realize that the capital investment actually, you need to constantly pump in money, to maintain your investment. So this is something that's very different. So every Western model that comes in and tells me any investment, all don't work. Yeah, because the Chinese market is really, really so unique. Yeah. What works for me? 3 things I just want to share. Understanding today's market, yeah. Every role that I take, I always plan for the future. Yeah, I'm never stagnant. Yeah, it's very important to know your industry trend, what works, because today's market is so robust. You need to really know the market in order to stay relevant. Yeah, if not 2-3 years, you're out of the market already. So this is something we need to know. It's a process. Geographical trends, knowing where the shift is in the economy, market environment, your competitors, it's very important. So you need to really, really understand the trends in the market. Yeah. Number 2, creating value. I think creating value is very simple. What you know, what others don't know, right? It's demand and supply. It's very simple. But really, positioning, self-branding. What is positioning? Positioning really is who you are, knowing who you are, having a high self-awareness, knowing who you are, knowing who you want to be, and knowing what you can offer today and what we want to offer tomorrow. I think that's very important. Yeah, that's positioning. So at every stage of life, you position yourself for the market. Yeah. Entrepreneurship, not just being an entrepreneur, but I think entrepreneur trait is very important. Yeah. Even when I hire people, I look for people who are entrepreneurs. Yeah. They must know what is taking ownership. They must constantly create value for themselves and for the organization. They must know what it means. Regardless of what job they are, they need to know how it translates to the bottom line. So I think that trait is very important. Yeah. Calibrate relates to the market. Every time the market shifts, yeah. So you really, every point in time, you need to sit down and recalibrate yourself to the market. So I think calibration is very important. So I think a lot of people work hard. I think working hard and creating value is really, really very different. Yeah, you can work hard on the same job every day, you're still working hard. But really you need to see this. Yeah. Passion. Next is passion. Passion without drive and focus is nothing. Yeah, because you don't action. Yeah, I can say I like this, but I don't do that. So focus, drive and focus is very important. And self-leadership. The world is changing so fast. Yeah, whether you are a fresh graduate, you are a mid-term manager, you are high in the corporate ladder, self-leadership is very important. Yeah, it is leading yourself. If you cannot lead yourself, how you influence people to lead people? Now, how can other people work for you to deliver your goals? So I think self-leadership is very important. And as you progress in your career, it is even more important because things get more complex, things get more diverse. So it's very important. And the last one is guts, courage. Guts means I always believe that if I jump into the well, the best way to learn is to jump into the well. I don't care. I can't learn Chinese. I just go China. Yeah, I don't know this. I've never done the same thing all my life. Yeah, I always every time Alex come to me and say, I don't know. I say, I'm sorry. There's no such word as I don't know. Because I've never done the same thing twice. Yeah, so I think guts is very important. And lastly, to end, I think all our dreams will come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Grayson. That was a very exciting talk.